she's like, yeah, no, I just didn't expect this from you since you're so incompetent at our job, I guess.
Basically.
This is Whose Creek Is It?
The podcast where two sisters recap and pontificate about the show Dawson's Creek.
I'm Miranda, and I've seen the whole series at least 5 times.
And I'm Allison, and I'm watching this show for the very first time. Let's get started. Listeners, Miranda was ready on time today. I logged onto the call to realize that I had no memory on my computer and had to move some stuff around, and now I'm delaying everything by sneezing, so kudos to Miranda for being prepared.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around. All right. Season 2, Episode 4, titled Tamara's Return. It came out October 28th, 1998. Director was Jesus Salvador Trevino, and the writer was Mike White.
Yeah. Tamara's Return.
Yeah, before we get into it, why does she own a warehouse?
Why? Why does she own a warehouse? We'll get into it, but the premise is so strange. Like, I could see, like, oh, she's selling her beach house that she lived in. Why did she also own a warehouse? And I was like, oh no, she's going to go after Dawson's dad, and that would be bad. But somehow she made a worse choice. But season 2, the openings were kind of breaking form. We're not always in the bedroom.
Yeah, and the opening for this one was very uneventful.
Yeah.
It's Dawson and Joey. They're at the ruins, which we haven't seen since season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making out.
Yep.
And Joey's complaining about having to make out outside.
And it's like cold and there's bugs, and it's like, well, yeah, you're wearing like a tank top and shorts, Joey. So either I feel like there was a miscommunication. You could have dressed better, but maybe Dawson didn't communicate the location. I feel like there are solutions.
Yeah. Anyway, that was basically it for the opening, right? I mean...
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, I don't like making out here. And Dawson's like, well... And then they made out some more.
Okay, so the story really actually begins when Dawson and Mitch are in downtown, and Mitch is talking about his aquatic-themed restaurant, which I guess is still on the table.
Yeah, Dawson says himself, like, oh, I thought this was just a weird pipe dream, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says, oh, I have a meeting with a woman about a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then up walks Miss Jacobs.
Miss Jacobs. And I was not expecting her to be there immediately. Like, I know the title of the episode is Tamara's Return. We saw the teaser in the last episode that she was going to be involved. But I like gasped. I was like, whoa, this was not where I saw this coming in.
I feel like, yeah, it would be more reasonable for her to be like, I had a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, or like, I had a parking ticket that I had to appear in court for. I don't know. But no, she just owns an abandoned warehouse in the center of town. This was what it was like in 1998. Teachers could own multiple properties. Just for funsies.
Mm-hmm. So, Dawson heads off to school, and he immediately tries to warn Pacey that she's back in town.
Yep.
And he doesn't really get a chance to. He's talking to him, and then Andie comes up, and I guess they're locker neighbors.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to talk about it in front of her. And yep, they didn't get a chance to talk.
Yeah, he didn't want to say in front of Andie, this girl who was like maybe a friend, maybe more. He didn't want to be like, hey, remember that teacher you slept with last semester? She's back in town.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, how Pacey finds out is more blindsiding than, like, I feel like Dawson could have said, by the way, Miss Jacobs is back in town. Bye.
Yeah, like pass him a note. Like this seems like something important enough that you go out of your way to like. It's not like they go to an enormous high school. I feel like Dawson. He could have made this happen.
Yeah, so then we cut to in school. Joey is telling Jack that the restaurant is going to be closed that afternoon because the sitter canceled for Bessie's baby.
And so Bessie can't be there, and I guess it sounded like Joey couldn't. Oh yeah, Joey couldn't be there because she's going to some art lecture, and so yeah, they're like, we can't open this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And Jack is like, do you really think I'm that incompetent? I can open. And so Joey's just like, yeah,
you
can open.
I, as a 15-year-old, can just decide, yeah, I guess so. I mean, she's basically like the co-owner and co-manager of the whole thing. As someone who has worked in restaurants, my initial thought was like, okay, maybe he can open. Do you have a cook?
Yeah.
You cannot serve and cook and host. So maybe they had a cook, but they just didn't have enough front of house. But anyway.
Yeah.
Jack convinces her.
Yeah. Next, we see Jen and Abby in the cafeteria. Abby comes up waving a fan of cash that apparently is her allowance.
So much money.
Yeah.
Just a wad of bills.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that's a normal occurrence. I'm amazed any parents could be organized enough to be like, oh, I should probably give my kids some money.
I feel like we would have an allowance for like a week or two, and then just like it would just kind of like fall to the wayside. And an allowance felt like one of those things that, oh, I'm a kid and I see this in TV and movies. I should probably have this. And your parents are like, yeah, sure, I guess, fine. And then you both just kind of go on with your lives. Kind of like having an imaginary friend. I felt like I was supposed to have one, so at some points when I was really little, I would be like trying to think of one.
I don't remember having an imaginary friend, but I think Mom said I did, and I'm like, are you sure I wasn't screwing with you?
Yeah, I could see you doing that.
All right, so yeah, apparently Abby has paid her allowance and asked Jen to go shopping with her. Jen says she wants to spend the whole weekend laying in bed.
Yeah, just being sad, which, like, same. Been there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jen admits that she's, like, hurt from the rejection, and she says something about not feeling like she can fit in with the other three anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, I mean, obviously she's upset about Dawson and the rejection, but I feel like that would be just as hard. Is she felt like she had sort of a friend group, and now everything's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just got Abby.
Yeah. It's a shame her and Pacey weren't more friends, because, like, he's technically around, but he's also, I guess, preoccupied with another friend of his that's a girl.
Yeah. So Jen is sad and wants to just feel sad, because unlike you and I, Jen decides to feel her feelings.
Yeah, but then Abby does convince her to go shopping.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this was more of a thing in the 90s because, you know, it was a 90s economy, but I've never been able to see shopping as, like, an activity, as a fun thing to do. And, you know, there's probably a lot of factors in that. Part of it is, like, money and not wanting to frivolously spend money. And part of it is that, like, I don't know about you, but I find buying clothes to be, like, stressful and makes me, like, confront my body and my identity and, like, what I wear. And it just feels like a lot. Like, it's not a fun, casual thing to do. So do you go shopping for fun?
I actually have with, like, my best friend sometimes when we didn't have anything to do. And this was before Target was canceled, but we would go to Target and look at clothes.
Yeah, Target's fun because they have like all like yeah a store like that where like you can look at clothes or you can look at like little knickknacks.
Yeah.
It's air conditioned. They used to have a great snack bar. And yeah, venture capital has ruined everything.
hmm Yeah, but I will say I kind of got like the 80s experience for a little bit. When I was in like middle school, me and my friends would sometimes walk over to the mall because we weren't like super far from the mall,
Mm-hmm.
and we would just walk around, and the security guards hated us because we didn't have money,
Yeah, you're
you know?
just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just loitering. We might like go to the candy store and spend $5.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Like kids specifically need like spaces to just exist in.
hmm They're discouraged from being anywhere without an adult now, pretty much.
Yeah, and malls are also dying, so
hmm
it's like our societal rules have consequences.
hmm Yeah.
But I'm glad I love that for you that you got to have like an '80s teen experience at the mall.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to go to the mall after school?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so then Andie and Pacey are in a classroom, and Andie apparently brought a bunch of VHS tapes to school. I don't know why, and she drops them, and Pacey helps her pick them up and sees Dumbo, that she's rented Dumbo.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the other one there was like the way we were, and I don't remember what the third one was, but the main one was Dumbo, and Pacey is unreasonably jazzed about Dumbo.
I guess he sees himself in that character.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when he explains like, oh, when all the other elephants are making fun of him, and then he loses his mom, and I was like, oh yeah, that would totally get me too. And then I feel like Dumbo was one of those movies that a lot of kids I thought was scary when I was really little because it has all
hmm
these weird like hallucinogenic types uh, imagery. But it was really kind of sweet to see Pacey be like, "Oh no, I empathized with the character and I felt feelings and I cried." And it was like, "Is this a thing Pacey admits?" Okay. Sometimes you find like the one thing that just like allows a person to be a person,
yeah.
and you're just like, "All right, this is it."
Yeah, Andy was very guarded about having the Dumbo movie, and then Pacey explains all this, and Andy says something like, "Well, just when I think I'm going to write you off."
Yeah.
And this is when Pacey kind of like, I don't know, takes a second and is like, "Hey, do you want to like hang out after school?" To which I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, that whole sequence it evolved from like him, making fun of her movie taste, and then it just turns. There's this really like sweet, natural turn to flirting, and then from flirting to this awkward Pacey actually pulling the trigger and being like, "Do you want to like hang out?"
To which Andy's very smiley.
Yeah,
And the scene ends with her saying, "You're not going to throw me in front of a bus or anything, are you?"
yeah. And he's like, "Hadn't thought of it, but
hmm Could happen.
yeah, it could happen."
Next, Joey is at some art lecture hosted by the woman whose name I didn't catch because I think they didn't mention it at all this episode, from the last episode, who was helping her with her school project. I forgot she makes an appearance after that episode.
I want to get this woman's name because she comes back.
Okay.
Yes, it's Laura Weston is the name of the character.
We did it.
So the architect slash artist slash teacher that Joey met last week for her economics project, Laura.
Yes, so Joey is at this art lecture and she brought Dawson with her. Dawson appears to be bored. After the lecture, Joey clearly seemed to love it. And they start talking about expressionism, and Joey's really into it, and Dawson doesn't get it at all. And I guess it's just too subjective for him.
It was interesting to see them discuss this. And, like, honestly, Dawson was better able to articulate what he didn't connect with he did a better job of articulating that than I expected. But at the same time, the thing he kept coming to is that it was like unresolved and unsatisfying, which makes sense since he's such a fan of like major blockbuster movies, because movies are all about creating tension and then giving you the satisfaction. They're pretty much all the same 3-act structure, and particularly something like a Spielberg film, like a popcorn movie like that, is about really resolving things. So it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't connect with abstract art or expressionism, but I don't know. I really like abstract expressionism and modern art. So I was like, shut up, Dawson.
Yeah, and I'm like, this scene kind of foreshadows the end, and I'm like, this should have been the opening scene, but that would have not made sense.
Yeah.
So after this class, the teacher, Laura, invites Joey to a drawing class she's doing, just like a beginning drawing class, to which Joey kind of shrugs off and is like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be good at that." And the teacher says, like, it's if you want, and you don't have to be good, you just have to be like willing to try.
Yeah.
So that's where we kind of leave it at. It puts a seed in Joey's head, like, maybe I should follow something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and I love that there's like a guiding adult presence in Joey's life. I love that for her. Even,
Yeah. All right, so Andie and Pacey are walking around in downtown, and this is really shortly mentioned, but Andie apparently got in another accident, and so her car isn't available.
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, and then I wrote, "Is she me?"
You didn't like get in an accident. Your car is just old and run through.
Yeah, but I was talking about previous episode we did, and I talked about how I got in a car accident like 7 days after my driver's license.
Yeah.
And then the only other accident I got in was also in a parking lot, and I just didn't look when I reversed.
I mean, there's also that time that you hit a bird as you were driving down from Northern California. But that's not an accident. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I blame the bird. He swooped down in front of my car when I was going like 85 miles an hour on the 5 in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that bird didn't stand a chance. That bird could have flown anywhere. You were... Wait, this was like your Randy Johnson moment. Randy Johnson was that baseball pitcher who like threw a pitch and it hit a bird smack.
It was funny though. I saw it flying above and I was like, "Huh, he's really close." And then he swooped down right in front of my car.
And you were, in the middle of like a 9-hour drive from Northern California to Southern California, just like...
Yeah, and then I hear it hit the front of my car, and then I like look at the side of my window. I see it slide on down the side of my car, and then I look in the rear view and I see it like just land somewhere on the side of the road.
Oh no.
And I was like, should I go back? I don't even know where it landed. And then I was like, he's probably dead.
Well, yeah, you were like in the middle of nowhere. It was, that sounds so sad and stressful.
And that was Christmas Day, I believe.
Oh.
Just to add to the story. That was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I might have some connection with Andie about having questionable driving skills. Anyway, that's briefly mentioned, and as they're walking down the street, Tamara walks up to them, and you can just see, like, Pacey has left.
Pacey's brain is short-circuiting. He blew a circuit. Nothing is happening. He is so shocked.
Yeah, and Andie's picking up on the whole vibe. She's like, who the hell is this lady? Why are you being weird?
Yeah, and Tamara's like trying to move things along. She's trying to like cover for Pacey. She's like, introduce me to your friend? I'm Tamara.
Yep. So Tamara walks off, you know, like no big deal. And then Pacey is shook and immediately ditches Andie to follow Tamara.
Yeah, which, like, I'm fascinated when people make choices that I absolutely wouldn't, that I couldn't see myself making. And I think in Pacey's position, I would probably have been like, I have to just stick out the encounter. I wouldn't have, like, just been like, I have to go. I would either, like, know the person or I'd fake something. I'd have a better, I don't know. But he just outright is just like, I can't be here right now. Bye.
Yeah, I would have faked like, oh, my tummy hurts. I have to go home.
Yeah. So Andie's like, you asked me out.
So now we are at the art class that Joey is, I want to say begrudgingly, cautiously taking.
Yeah. Entertaining.
Uh huh. And the teacher, Laura,
Yeah.
she comes up to her after class and is like, I think you have real talent. To which Joey brushes it off and is like, oh, it's just a bowl of fruit. And the teacher keeps kind of pressing her on this. And she's like, oh, well, my mom was an artist. And then the teacher is like, oh, why'd she stop?
Oh, and then Joey is like, oh, she died.
She's dead.
I'm sorry, we're laughing at this poor girl's dead mother. But it's, yeah, laughing from discomfort. And to be honest, the teacher, Laura, she recovers pretty well. She's like, oh, this is sad. So she did art?
Yeah, and she said, oh, yeah, but my mom just did it for fun. And then, like, this gives us insight into her mother because she said that, like, her mom would draw pictures from Joey's stories and, like, put them in her room. And I was like, oh, okay. So this was, like, a really nice mom.
Yeah. I just loved the way that Laura kind of went like, listen, yeah, I know you can be self-deprecating and cynical and whatever, but, like, you should pursue this. And I think I sometimes want, like, an adult figure. I'm an adult. I want another adult to, like, sort of give me permission to pursue things sometimes. Or
All right. I mean, you can always ask me. I'll tell you, burn your life down.
I might do that with you. We'll see how the next week goes. I did say that you calmed me down from something, and my therapist said, "What's her name? What's your sister's name? Miranda. Good job, Miranda."
Thanks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Laura Weston is like, you should do it, and then Joey's like, why does this make me incredibly anxious?
Because it's big responsibility, and you owe it to yourself for this talent to not go to waste.
And that was such an interesting thing to hear on Dawson's Creek, because, like, there is a pressure to having any kind of, like, talent or creative talent, because you're like, I don't know, it feels we've created a society where any kind of artistic or creative pursuit is so risky, emotionally, financially, socially.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not I mean, I get it. That's a good way to tell someone to keep going with something, but at the same time, I'm like, that sounds stressful.
Yeah, it is. It's also kind of a lot. It's, yeah, the way she got her in the class was like, no pressure, nothing means anything, whatever. And then she's like, yeah, you should do this.
You owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
So then we pop over to Dawson's, who I guess he does his own laundry. Good for him. That's, like, pretty good for a teenage boy in the 90s.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder what the general state of affairs in the household is right now. It's hard to tell. Like, is this normal for Dawson to do his laundry, or is everything falling apart?
Yeah, it's a good question. And someone is at the door, and it's Andie, and she says she came over because she wants to know the English assignment.
Yeah, it was a really bad cover. And Dawson knows it's a cover. He picks up on it.
Yeah. And she then brings up, like, has Pacey said anything about liking someone? Like, maybe me?
Yeah. And Dawson's like, no. But that doesn't mean he doesn't like you.
So Andie has to kind of admit that she likes him, and Dawson's like, just tell him. And she's like, no.
Which, like, Andie, I feel for you.
Yeah, and then Dawson's like, well, Pacey has a way of flirting that kind of matches what's happening with you guys right now.
Yeah, or it was something about how sometimes he can be obnoxious, and that's his way of flirting.
Yep. Also, during this scene, Andie is like anxiously holding like a piece of laundry that fell.
Yeah.
And she's like wringing it with her hands and doing all sorts of stuff, and then she realizes it's a pair of boxers, which I was like, ew,
Yeah.
because they're dirty unless they have the laundry room upstairs. Maybe they're clean. I don't know.
No, I think I saw a laundry machine in the room with like the water heater. So he was taking it
Oh.
down to do laundry. She was holding his dirty boxers. And Dawson, this is kind of this is fun whenever I get to see a character who's just like finding out like something is going on with other people, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like, it's kind of how I love to hear about drama when it's not related to me at all, and preferably after it's all been resolved. I want to hear afterwards. But it's kind of fun for Dawson because he's just like, oh, here's a thing that's not really connected to me at all, and I can just enjoy that being a spectator.
Yeah. So next, we're seeing Jen and Abby hanging out post shopping. Apparently, Abby blew through her allowance very quickly. And then she tells Jen that she's going to explain having all the money gone already by saying that she got mugged.
Yeah, and Jen's like, in Capeside. And like, we don't know anything about Abby's home life. Maybe her parents just won't even notice or care.
Yeah, and then Jen kind of gets sweet with her, basically saying like she's happy that she knows Abby and like that she's been helping her through this time.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, well, I think Abby kind of leans her into it, is like, aren't you glad you met me? But Jen eventually gets to like, yeah, it's kind of fun, and she kind of like admits that she's kind of turning back to her bad girl roots, which, like, okay, if your idea of being a bad girl is like having a kind of iffy friend and watching someone blow through their allowance, let's land here, Jen. This is a good bad girl place to be. Oh no, Jen, don't be so bad.
I mean, they did get wasted at Pacey's party, so
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Yeah. But otherwise, and then this leads to Abby spotting a guy across the way that is clearly at least in his 30s.
Depends on the era. The facial hair is reading him. Yeah, he's definitely, I'd say, at least late 20s.
Okay, yeah, fair. And Abby calls out to him.
Just from another table, like, hey, what's your name?
My name's Tony.
Wait, what's that from?
I don't even know where it came from. It's just some meme thing.
Okay, my name's Tony.
And it's like, my name's Ezekiel. Fuck you, Tony. And I don't...
I don't know this meme.
I hope it's not, like, attached to something bad. Never mind.
But yeah, and I just imagine, like, that, like, I took myself out to lunch at, like, this cafe, because I'm, in my 30s, sitting down there with, I think it was, like, a Coors Light or something, a bottle of beer, and, like, a 15-year-old just yells at you from another table, hey, what's your name?
He handles it pretty well. Abby is coming on very hard to him.
Yeah.
And Jen is kind of mortified, just silently mortified.
Yeah.
But yeah, when she turns around to look at him, he seems to take an interest in her.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, God. Come on, dude. She's a 15-year-old hanging out with another 15-year-old. Like, you don't need to know her name. Stop it.
Yeah. But I feel like Jen is like kind of being coy in this scene. She's like, I don't dislike this attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we see Joey drawing by herself. I think. Yeah. She
Where was this? Remind me.
this was just like outside, wasn't it? Shit, I don't know.
Okay, Joey's drawing.
Joey's drawing. Oh yeah. She's drawing outside somewhere. She's kind of like hiding her art from Dawson. Dawson comes up and like is very excited, like golden retriever energy, just like having a good time and asking what she's doing and like taking an interest. Um and Joey for some reason doesn't want to share her drawings. And he mentions he calls it a hobby of hers.
Which I don't think is terribly out of line.
No, like
At the same time, he was giving golden retriever energy, but there was just a smidge of like
condescending,
patronizing energy, just a smidge.
Mm-hmm.
But Joey does not like when he calls it a hobby.
Yeah, she's like, why is your film making a passion, but my drawing is just a hobby?
Because you started yesterday.
And he does like immediately apologize. He doesn't think it's a big deal, but then it becomes clear it is a big deal to her, which I'm like, yeah, I don't think that warranted the reaction. We kind of find out later that it's tied to a lot more than just calling this thing she does a hobby.
Yeah. It's just, it reminded me of a friend I used to have that would just get really charged about like something like that. And it's, it comes from a place of insecurity, but it's also like can be as a friend or romantic partner irritating.
Yeah. So they're leaving it in not a great place. Dawson doesn't exactly know what he did wrong.
Yeah.
And next, Pacey is at Tamara's old house.
Yeah, back at the old beach house where I think that's where they said goodbye before.
Mm-hmm. And she's just there looking out to the ocean.
In this weird hat. It was just the brim was too curved. It's hard to explain, listeners, but I didn't like the hat.
Okay. She does look like she's wearing like I don't know how to describe it, but just like she looks like she's dressed like a teddy bear.
Yeah, she definitely looks like she's in dress, in wardrobe she has aged up. They're trying to make her look older. Which like makes sense.
And Pacey comes up to her and they start trying to have a conversation, but it's very awkward and neither of them know what to say to each other. And then Tamara brings up that this is a Pinter moment, which he's like, I don't know what that is, which neither do I.
Yeah.
And she says it's a moment where everything's said in silence.
Yeah.
I was like, see, she's still teaching him. Yeah, there's not much said there.
She did say,
just like, hey.
Yeah, there was a really good line. She says, silence is an acquired taste. Which, yeah, that is something that I think is hard to sit with and appreciate when you're younger. And then as you get older and more comfortable with yourself or more comfortable with another person, you're a lot more able to sit in silence and not need to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Pacey grew like 4 inches, I feel like, since the last time they saw each other.
I know. I did notice in this episode, I'm like, yeah, he does look different somehow.
Just looks real tall.
Maybe that's his aging up. They had him walk on stilts or something.
Or he might have genuinely, like, grown, because...
Yeah. Because they were, like, in their late teens.
Yeah, and I feel like men keep growing longer.
Mm-hmm. And the scene ends with Pacey being like, so who is this Pinter guy? And then Tamara's like, stay in school, Pacey.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping, like, okay, good, we've landed at a place where clearly she's telling him, you're a child, stay in school, and maybe his not knowing about this Pinter guy has turned her off, and we can just leave this.
That'd be nice.
That
would be good.
That would make sense.
All right, so Dawson and Mitch are in the kitchen at their house, and Dawson is telling his father about this fight that he has with Joey that he's very confused by. And his father says something, and I'm like, is this condescending towards women? But also, he is right. He's like, she's probably not mad about whatever you think you're fighting about. It probably is about something else, and it's just like manifesting through this thing.
Yeah, I was the same when I heard the way that Mitch delivered it. I was like trying to decide if he's doing, man, women be crazy. But it was a little more nuanced than that. It was, I think it's because he introduced it as like, son, I find that when a woman is upset or something, which, like, just being like, this is how women deal with things, is, you're walking on thin ice, buddy. But in this case, it was true.
Yeah, and I mean, he does give him good advice. He's like, go talk to her.
Yeah.
Like, you need to figure out what's wrong.
What's actually wrong.
And then Pacey comes in just as Mitch is leaving, and he's upset that Dawson did not tell him about Tamara. And Dawson's like, I mean, I tried.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have tried a little harder, but yeah.
Yeah. And then this is when Pacey says, yeah, I'm not entirely sure I'm over her. And this is when you're just like, ah.
Okay, that doesn't mean you have to go do anything. A lot of people break up and then, like, they're not over it, and that's why they don't see each other. But it sounded like he was like, well, if I still feel this way, I have to pursue it. And that is a fundamental difference between me and Pacey, is that if I feel this way, it doesn't mean I have to pursue it. It means I have to squash it down.
Well, I mean, Dawson basically gives him that advice. He's like, you need to just stay away from her.
Yeah, Dawson is truly the voice of reason. In this scene, he's just like, listen, man, you don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, maybe you could be with a girl your age. Like, maybe there's girls your age that like you. To which Pacey does not understand what he's getting at. And he's like, what? Who? And then Dawson doesn't try to hide it at all. He's like, it's Andie.
Yeah, he puts up like a very superficial fight. And he's like, Andie. And like Pacey seems excited about it.
Yeah, but he immediately is like, what? She hates me. And then Dawson's like, no, it's basic kindergarten psychology.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Pacey makes a point that he doesn't know he's making a point of. He's like, yeah, but Andie's a girl. Tamara, she's a woman.
Yeah.
And Dawson's like, yeah, you should be with the girl.
Yeah, buddy. Any woman that wants to be with a child, just don't. Just super don't. Oh.
Next, Joey is at the restaurant and asks Bessie for a day off to go see some art exhibit because it's dead at their restaurant. And Jack is also there, and Bessie's like, go take Jack.
And he's filling salt shakers. Which, like, is a genuine thing. That is a thing. It's called side work. A lot of, when you're a server, you, like, do your tables, and then in the off times, you're refilling the salt shakers or stuff like that. But somehow he seems inept even at that.
Yeah. So they're just setting the scene for later. But now we're hopping over to the warehouse with Mitch and Tamara, and she admits that she wants to sell this warehouse quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and Mitch is like, "Yeah, no, I seem to remember it was something about a student." And she kind of admits to it. She's like, "Yeah, something like that." And then she's like, "Well, you're not immune to scandal too." So,
Yeah, which made me think, like, how would she know that Gail cheated on Mitch?
I mean, it's a small town.
I guess so. That's the
I don't
only
know.
real explanation. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and there's just, to me, it felt like there was a lot of sexual tension in that scene.
Mhm. It was weird.
And I was like, this is where I thought it was going to go. And I was like, oh, this would be interesting if they went this. This is a terrible idea, but it'd be really interesting to the story if they went in this direction.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it also just means like, "Oh, I get your problems. We're both dealing with things."
Yeah, except one of you is a perpetrator, and one is not.
Yep.
But yeah, there is that when sometimes you can sort of, whether it's just you're both going through it for something or you both feel like outside of a group or something, you can just be, it is nice to have one person that you're like, so you're all fucked up too? Yeah, me too.
That takes me back to college. Well, just like in my major, it was small. It was like 30 people,
Mhm.
and we had almost all the same classes together. So when there were big projects due, because, we didn't really have tests, we had projects.
Same.
And we'd be all in the studio at like 2 in the morning trying to figure out how to replace the ink on the plotter. And like, someone's crying because they're like, "I'm not going to get it done in time." And we're all just like, we're in the trenches together.
This sounds like RuPaul's Drag Race or something.
Honestly, oh my God, now that you say
Or
that.
Project Runway. Like,
Yeah.
I'm up until 2 in the night, someone's having an emotional breakdown, someone is having a materials problem.
Yes. Yeah. And then someone is like, I'm already done. Let me help you.
Aw, yeah. I love when the queens do that on Drag Race. Or on Great British Bake Off too.
Yeah. I think it stemmed from like, look, you're down right now, but like, I'm going to be down someday. So I'm going to help you out because
Yeah.
I'm going to need help.
Yeah. And if you see these people all the time, you presumably have come to like them to some point.
Yeah. But like, shared experience of misfortune really does bond people.
Yeah, trauma bonding is a real thing. Not to say that like going to school and having a tough semester is trauma bonding, but like,
We would joke that it was,
Yeah.
but it really wasn't.
yeah, but it is true. It is like, that is a known, I mean, a lot of organizations like the American military purposely make things incredibly hard and potentially traumatic because it forces you to bond with the people you're there with.
I learned that on that Netflix show called Boots, I think. I think that's what it was called. It was about a gay
Yeah.
guy going into, I don't remember what branch of the
It
military.
was the Marines.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was a solid show.
But I was like, "Oh wow. This feels bad for a person's brain
Oh, no.
to be there."
No, I wonder if like 30 years from now, if there's ever going to be a point in history where we truly evaluate the very purposeful psychological manipulation of soldiers.
Yeah, that's the assumption that it'll be different 30 years
I know, that's
from
the
now.
thing. But that would be unpatriotic and un-American to call it out. So they're sad together in the warehouse.
Yep. Next, we're over at an exhibit with Joey and Jack, and surprisingly, Jack knows a lot about expressionism and this particular artist.
Yeah, this is Jack's thing, apparently.
Yeah, Joey is just like flabbergasted.
Yeah, because partially because she just sees Jack as like, oh, this dumb guy that
Buffoon.
screws up, but also probably because the only other boy or other person she shared something like this with was Dawson, who was just like, there's no big explosions.
Yeah, and they're kind of flirty here, like,
Yeah.
because she's like, yeah, no, I just didn't expect this from you since you're so incompetent at our job, I guess.
Basically, which, as someone who was a pretty messy server, especially in the beginning, it's not for everyone. It was not good for me emotionally and psychologically.
I remember you saying something about how you like to go hide in the kitchen, and I'm like, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, hide in the kitchen or hide in the walk-in beer fridge. Like that's where you go to cry. Because for the most part, people leave you alone.
That's the crying spot.
Yeah, the walk-in beer fridge.
Okay, yeah, and then Jack makes a pointed comment, not intentionally on his part, but he's like, well, just to think about some shallow person that could come in here and think all this work is meaningless.
Yeah.
So we see a new side of Jack. He apparently knows art, I guess.
Yeah. And which is, yeah, I wonder where that comes from. Maybe in the brief period that his family was rich, they went to art museums. Not that that's a rich people thing, but like fine art.
It kind of is.
Yeah. Like museums can be accessible, but fine art as a pursuit, kind of a rich people thing.
Yeah. Next, Abby and Jen are walking around the docks looking for the guy. He also mentioned his name was Vincent. I didn't mention that. So they're looking for Vincent.
Yeah.
And Jen makes some comment about like he could be your father. He's like twice your age or whatever. Which good on you, Jen. Use that knowledge for yourself in the future.
Also, Jen is dressed like a grandma.
It's like a slip dress with a cardigan.
Yeah.
And
everything is kind of ill-fitting and like it's like a floral dress with like
it's also her hair.
Yeah.
Just like the hairdo she has right now.
Yeah, so she's like and then Abby's like in some like Y2K see-through jacket shit. But apparently they've just been traipsing around the docks trying to find Vincent because he's also revealed that he's like working on a boat for a couple of months or something.
Yeah, and they do find him, and he's on this old-timey boat that like has like ropes and sterns or whatever the wood posts that hold the sails up.
I don't know what it's called, but I'd love to continue to listen to you describe boat things.
So he's like, I don't know, up in some ropes and
shirtless.
Yeah. Looks like he should be on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Abby's like chatting with him, being annoying.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned some bar they should go to. She's like, it's all the rage with you laborers.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh.
I'm like, how do you think that's gonna work for you?
I mean, and Vincent calls it out of like, oh, I'm not going to be your blue-collar dalliance or your blue-collar fantasy.
Yeah.
Which was clearly what he was from the beginning, because Abby is someone who just throws around wads of cash and... But yeah, he kind of shuts it down.
Yeah, he calls her an oversexed, condescending teeny bopper.
Yeah, good job, Vincent. Let's stop here.
And yeah, so Abby's upset and is storming off. Jen kind of hangs back, lightly defending, barely defending Abby. Like, come on, she's a dumb teenage girl.
Yeah, she sort of
let her be dumb.
Yeah, it was sort of like, I know that came off badly, but like she's really not like a bad person, which is what the friend of every bad person says.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, no, if someone did something messed up, I wouldn't be defending them. I'd be like, hey, I don't know, they're straight up bugging, but like, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, you could just be like, sorry, that was weird, and then walk off.
Yeah. So yeah, she's kind of hanging back, and yeah, Vincent says that yeah, she's not worth messing around with. Abby isn't, and then he says something along the lines of Jen is different.
He says, you're different. And listeners, if you ever find yourself saying that to a child, stop and run away. Younger listeners, if you ever find an older adult saying that to you, stop and run away. Because you're different is the gateway into bullshit.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go with it's the gateway to oh, what do they call it when you're
Statutory
like
rape.
no. Yes, but grooming.
Grooming, yes. It is the
I was
gateway
thinking
to
the word grooming, but bullshit is also.
Honestly, I couldn't think of a better word, but that is the gateway to grooming. The phrase "you're different."
Yeah, like you're special.
Yeah.
Like you should just believe everything I say and love me
Yeah, you're
unconditionally.
more mature than the other girls.
Yeah. And they didn't really teach that at our age, that was a red flag.
Yeah, not
and
really.
I definitely knew girls who really went for that. Like, oh, well, you don't know how he is with me.
Oh, I think I
It's
do.
Yeah, and then he kind of like asks her out, but
Yeah.
I don't think they exchange numbers.
Yeah,
But I guess Jen knows where he is for now.
I guess so. And Jen, like, she looks like kind of flattered. Like, she's not like jumping in wholeheartedly, but like, Jen is starved for positive attention right now.
She's like, I like that I can pull.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, no, he cute.
Yeah. So then we're back to Jack and Joey, and Jack is asking Joey about her work and gives her advice of like, you know, you should draw what you love. Like that'll keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawson comes by, I guess.
And Jack reads the room and goes, "That's her boyfriend. Goodbye."
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Doesn't even try to like, he's just, and on the one hand, like, that's good, but it was almost the speed with it.
Suspicious.
Oh, it almost makes it suspicious the speed with which he flipped that switch. But ultimately, I think it was the right choice.
Yeah. So Joey is still kind of icy with Dawson. It's clear he's trying. He's like, I just want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey doesn't really give him a great answer. It's just like, well, everything with you's the same. Like,
yeah. She didn't articulate it well, but I do think there is something there of feeling like clearly Joey doesn't know what direction her life is going to go, but she knows she wants to get out of town. She wants to do something other than work at the ice house and stay in Capeside forever. So she has that sort of intrinsic drive. But this person who's so important to her and this like relationship she's wanted for so long is finally happening is very rooted in things staying the same, is rooted in her staying the same. So I think she's facing this idea of like, she's just has sort of these conflicting forces, but she doesn't know how to articulate that. So she's just like, it's all the same.
And I kind of think that's not a good sign in a relationship when you feel like you changing is threatening the relationship. Like you feel like you aren't supported in changing.
Yeah. Like a thing, like, not that I'm very successful, but like a thing that I like and admire about a good relationship is when it seems like the other person, the people, they help each other become more developed, actualized versions of themselves. Like person A wants to become, you know, this better version of themselves, and person B is like, yes, I want that for you too. What can I do to support you?
Yeah. So it's a little scary that she feels like Dawson can't give her that. But it's also a thing of like, it seems like she expected him, like once they got into a romantic relationship, like she expected him to somehow be a different person. And it's like, nope, he's the same person.
Yeah. But also they talk a little bit about her sort of playing a sidekick role, and I think Dawson very much sees himself as the main character, and everyone does to an extent, but that is a tough dynamic when you feel like in the relationship you're the sidekick or you're the like less quote unquote important person, and
Mm-hmm.
that can really sour things.
Yeah. So they're in trouble, kind of.
Yeah.
It's still unresolved.
And Dawson still doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah. He's like, okay, everything's the same. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Pacey comes to the warehouse where Tamara is.
Yeah, where she's just
And-
like picking up plaster off the ground.
Yeah. No, I know. I wrote down barrels and drywall.
Just barrels and drywall.
And I'm like, is Tamara Dexter? Like, does she have dead bodies in the barrels? Like, why does she have this warehouse?
Yeah, why? Like, I can see if you're moving to a place to teach and it's 1998 and you can afford to, buying a house like she did. Why'd she buy the warehouse?
What was she doing there?
Yeah. Has it always been this dilapidated? Did you plan on it being like a project? But we don't know. She just owns this warehouse and she's trying to sell it.
Yeah, which also, like, you really fucked up your whole life for this guy.
Yeah, for this 15-year-old.
Like, you apparently bought or rented a beach house, which looked lovely,
Mm-hmm.
and then apparently you bought a warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were like, nope, I'm gonna throw it all away.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I mean, maybe it's hard for us to understand as women who aren't attracted to 15-year-old boys and aren't like independently wealthy. Maybe those are the two factors.
You know, I was thinking, I'm like, maybe Tamara is like a traveling serial killer or something.
Ooh. But does she target her teenage boy students? Is she like a Black Widow? She like kisses you and then she kills you.
Mm-hmm. But then people found out, so she's like, I gotta skip town.
It's like, this is why you gotta kill him quick, Tamara.
I don't know. There's just a lot of unclear decisions and situations. But anyway, Pacey has come to the warehouse and he claims to be there to tell her that, like, he's okay. He's doing okay. Like, you know, we didn't really get a good opportunity to say goodbye. And so they both are like, goodbye.
Yeah.
And then they walk away. And then they stop, and then they turn around and look at each other, and then they run to each other and just make out hard.
Yeah. They just like it like turns on a dime. Like obviously there's this mounting tension of him being like, I'm okay and everything's okay and I just came to say goodbye. And obviously there's all this subtext. It's like, all right, well, we did it. And then finally the it all blows up when they turn around and like, it was just so aggressive, and they both like went for each other.
Yeah.
But was it
Yeah.
Pacey that pulled back?
I can't remember who it was, honestly. I kind of feel like it was both of them.
Yeah, because eventually they do pull apart.
Yeah. And maybe it was Pacey who was like, I know it has to be over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they go back to referencing the Pinter thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pacey is like, do you miss teaching?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes. And then he's like, okay, cause I miss your teaching.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so like when he started that sentence, do you miss? And it dragged on. It was like, I thought he was gonna say me. So I was like, oh, that's cute that he said teaching.
Yeah. And that's how it ends.
For now?
Yeah. He walks out of the warehouse and I'm like, okay, he's not going to help her with the drywall or
No, or the bodies in the barrels.
Yeah, he's like, good luck with all this.
Anyway, seems like a bad investment on your part, Tamara.
So then we're at school and Jen is following Abby around in the halls, trying to smooth things over because Abby apparently is mad that Vincent seemed to like her more than he liked her.
Yeah, it was so clearly not, like, Jen didn't do anything. Jen didn't do anything. He just, like, he didn't like you, and then he was a creep to your friend.
Hmm. But she was like, you stole him from me.
Oh, Abby, you are. She's just. It's just so childish.
Yeah. And Jen tries to take the high road. She's like, no, like, you're important to me. I don't care about him.
Yeah.
Like, I just care about this relationship. And then Abby keeps lashing out. And then Jen's like, well, it's not my fault he rejected you.
And Jen's right. It's not her fault, but it doesn't seem like Abby can deal with truth very well.
Mm-hmm. Then Dawson finds Joey again,
Mm-hmm.
and is like, so I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
What
Need
is
to,
this?
I need to know what's happening.
Because it seems like it concerns me, and that I am part of this, but I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. And she admits, she's like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening either.
Mm-hmm.
And she explains, like, the thing about being a sidekick and that he's been the center of her world. And now she's like, now what do I do? And, like, now that I have you, like, if you go away, what will I have? And so she's just having an identity crisis.
Yeah. I mean, that is essentially, she's afraid of. She can feel that she's all in on Dawson, like, emotionally, but she knows that if she loses that, she's left with nothing. So that maybe is why she's pursuing the art, but maybe pursuing the art almost feels like subconsciously she's preparing to lose Dawson. We could psychoanalyze this all day.
Mm-hmm. And Dawson tries to reassure her. He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'll do anything. Like, what do I need to do to fix this?
Yeah, he's like, I'll be supportive or I'll stay the hell out of it. Which I liked that. That's a great thing because honestly, if you're a couple, you should have, like, some separate stuff going on.
Yeah. No, I think it's bad when you have, like, all the same friends as your partner and you don't have anything you go and do by yourself. Like, it's just setting you up for a possible bad situation.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so they don't really get an answer. Joey's like, I'm like an expressionist painting. I'm unresolved.
Yeah, can we just let this be unresolved? And then Dawson, like, hugs her and clearly still confused.
Yeah, they just sad hug.
Yeah, they sad hug.
Next, Pacey runs into Andie in downtown. He, comes up to her, starts eating her sandwich.
Yeah. He's like, how's the burger here? And just picks up her burger.
And just by his, like, cocky attitude, she's like, Dawson told you, didn't he? Mm. And he's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, these feelings will pass. Mm-hmm. They might pass.
And Pacey's being like, yeah, Andie can tell that he knows, but, like, he's not being a total dick about it.
He's teasing her.
Yeah.
He's being a tease.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of this cafe they're at, Andie sees this woman that they met earlier. And it's like, hey, don't you know her? And he's like, I did. Not anymore.
Yeah. So wistful.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
That's it. This was like a pretty well-balanced episode of everyone having something interesting going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having someone they can go and talk to about, hey, so this thing's happening to me.
Yeah, because Dawson's whole thing is just like, Joey's upset and I don't understand why, and, like, I want to understand, but, like, I really don't understand.
Andie's kind of going through that too, but she's like, I don't really have a right to be so confused, but I'm also very confused.
Yeah.
What's going on with Pacey?
Yeah.
Mm. And then Jack also is confused.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if anything more happens with Joey and Jack. Can you hear Crush?
Yeah, Crush is like, can you hurry up?
Buddy, it is not even close to dinner time. You need to chill.
All right. Well, I guess we'll hop to it.
Whose creek is
it? Crush is like, mine. It's
my creek. Okay, I think I'm the two that are sort of standing out to me are that it's either Pacey or Joey's creek. And I at least gave it to Joey last week.
I'm gonna say it was Pacey's creek because there's some resolution.
Yeah, and it sort of seems like he has matured, or he's kind of closed that chapter. I think you're right. I think it's Pacey's creek.
Yeah, he's worked through something, and Joey is like, I still don't know what I'm working through yet, but things are weird.
Yeah, you're right that there's more of a sense of resolution with Pacey, and yeah, I think it's Pacey's creek. It's like there's plenty going on, but like Dawson had stuff to focus on, and so did Jen. But it's sort of the same with Jen. Is that it doesn't feel like she's kind of sounds shitty, but like learned her lesson. She hasn't she hasn't found what's next for her. She's still just trying to keep her head above water. Now that like the foundation that she had is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say, I guess. I guess we'll find out more about Dawson and Joey next episode, because, I mean, we kind of have to.
Yeah, I'm wondering, although we have had occasions in the past where they, like, ended the episode, like, really uncertain, and then they start the episode like nothing's wrong, and it sort of takes them a minute to, like, acknowledge that, like, yeah, this is still kind of underlying.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, the next episode is called Full Moon Rising. Who's turning into a werewolf? We'll see.
We'll find out. It's either a werewolf or butts.
Yep.
These are the only two options. Or it's like a harvest festival or something.